all of the patterns, right? What is a pattern? A pirouette, a spin. A cartwheel, it's a pattern. A backflip, a throw. All of the patterns at a certain point was not like existed, right? Or not discovered. They were invented at some point, right? Someone did a cartwheel or a backflip, and then more people did. Eventually they gave it a name. But originally, it was no pattern. So how it got kind of discovered? Someone played, yeah? I don't know, I was not there. But it came from playing around, right? So this is kind of the first thing I want us to understand, that all of the patterns are made up in a certain point that were discovered, and my goal is to give and to share tools how I can play, and then I can actually discover stuff like Tai Chi, Qigong, Kung Fu, and Capoeira. This is like the art that I invested the most in the last few years. And something happened when I started practicing the Tai Chi, and I remember the moment that it kind of dropped for me was when I remember I was like moving and playing, and then suddenly this opened to this, and then, okay, so, and wait, what I'm doing now? Now I'm doing Capoeira or Tai Chi? Okay, now I'm doing Tai Chi. And then suddenly, okay, wait, so I'm just playing with energy, with momentum, and then it suddenly hits me from that single moment of, okay, that was the first time that I didn't think patterns. What I'm doing, I was actually playing with something just within me. The shift that I want us to do here is to move from moving out of thinking to moving out of feeling or sensing. Now I will give you my definition for it, okay? That moving out of feeling is moving out of awareness of the forces and the energy and the forces that are acting upon us, and aiming them in a spontaneous way. Now, if we divide that sentence, is moving out of awareness. We talked about awareness, right? Of what? Of the forces, okay? I have gravity. I have the force that comes back up, the ground reaction force. And what I do with it, I aim it. So we were aiming the spin, right? When I'm pushing, I'm aiming it to go this way, the energy, the force, right? So now, okay, so I'm feeling the movement, okay? So I'm feeling the forces, I'm feeling gravity, and I'm playing with it, and I'm aiming it to this way and to this way. Now I'm gonna do it mainly in the hand, so you can like just, it will be more clear, but I'm aiming it here, and I'm aiming it here, and I'm aiming it here, and I'm just playing with it. I'm just playing with this. So I'm not following a certain pattern or a certain thing. I'm just aiming. At the moment it was just here. I'm going to do it in different ways. And this is basically what we are going to kind of see how we're going to do it. To how I'm playing with movement without thinking it too much. Okay? Because what happens, or at least that happened to me and many people that I teach, is that when we follow the patterns, when the pattern is all what we got, we focus on the outside of the movement. Okay? We focus on the technical parts of it, of how it should look. We have the image of how it should look. Okay? And so I'm doing you saw this thing, the macaco, the jump over, so this. Okay? So when I move and I think that, okay, I'm going to do a macaco, first of all, it's kind of making me, I'm doing something, a macaco, and then what happens is, if I was moving, and then this happened. I tried to do a macaco, I didn't send enough force, so I didn't go over, so I did not do a macaco. So it's already I did not succeed. But if I treat it as I'm playing with momentum, okay, so I'm moving, doing here. Okay, I didn't send enough, it doesn't matter because it's not, I didn't try to do something. I played, and it changes the way we look at this, okay? First, there is no I did succeed or did not succeed. This is number one. And number two, it puts the attention inside the body and not the outside. We're going to learn to move from the inside, not from the outside. And there is a sentence in the Chinese martial arts, which is an amazing sentence. I recommend you to write it down if you want, but it's beginners move the outside to move the inside, and masters move the inside to move the outside. What it means, the way it connected is, if I'm trying to do a certain cartwheel, and I'm thinking about it, it happens a lot also in capoeira, where I'm moving and I'm playing, and then I'm fixed in my head on, I'm going to do this trick, I'm going to do this cartwheel. And cartwheel, cartwheel, cartwheel. And then I go to the cartwheel because I planned it ahead, but the momentum was actually taking me this way. So if I want to do a cartwheel, but the momentum was going this way, but I was not listening. I was in my head, I want to go this way, instead of being here and listening, and then, okay, then it's going here, 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 but I'm aware of where the movement is going, and I'm aiming it, and I'm not disconnecting from what happens inside. I'm inside and feeling the movement and not thinking the movement, okay? We talked about it also when we stand, when we push. Let's not try, at least not to think about it too much, but more to feel it, which the counter side of it is that sometimes we need to think, obviously. When we learned a new drill, we think in a cartwheel, arm, arm, leg, leg, right? So I have this line, arm, arm, leg, leg. So in the beginning, I start with, I think it through, but the goal, or at least my goal, is to change the thinking to an experience. And I will tell you what I mean, is in the end, all the movements are experiences. When I spin, we talked about it, I don't see myself spin. I experience myself spin. So I remember it as an experience. If you, for example, go to someone that is doing acrobatics for years, and is not teaching, so he doesn't remember the technical cues, and you ask him, can you teach me that, let's say, raise or something like this? They remember the experience. They do this, okay, because the experience in the end is what is getting implemented in the body, and not the outside technique. The funny part is, some of them, when I was in Bali and tried to learn acrobatic from there were two people trying to teach me and a friend at the same time, and they actually gave us their own technique. They were telling us to do 180, and then to jump, and it felt like wrong in the body, and then I filmed them and I saw, you're doing 90. You're like doing this and then you jump. And this just shows you that in the end, when you are really implementing the things, we are going to implement them in experiences. Okay, now I'll give you an example. For example, this thing. Okay, so here I can think about the arm getting inside and then I'm jumping there, or I can think about it as this experience of I'm folding and then unfolding. So if I summarize it, all of the kind of the long thing I said was, first, remember that the patterns, if you're new to moving around, so amazing, you have a strong start. If you move and you feel like you're stuck with the pattern, remember everything was invented. Everything was invented, and theoretically, you don't have to learn patterns, right? You can just play and be able to do a backflip. Most of us probably won't do it, learning the patterns kind of save us time, but theoretically, and not theoretically, but actually, we don't have to just learn the patterns. So this is number one. And number two is when we are learning, let's try to shift it to experiences and implement the experience within the body. Okay? Yes?